The following is a compLexity production.
1, 2, 3, compLexity!
This is the press conference, streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
Oh, you cannot be serious, man!
You've got questions, we've got answers. And now, your hosts, compLexity.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the press conference, where you're going to get the answers that you want and not anywhere else in esports. My name is Zach. I'm the content manager for compLexity Gaming. Over here to my right is Kyle Beef Batista. Kyle, thank you so much for joining us today.
There's been a lot of stuff going on, man. I think we got a lot to talk about.
Yep, and we got to get through it quickly. And just to help us get through all that stuff, we have our special guest today. We have Josh, Chef Josh.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me. Sure, it'll be fun talking.
You nervous?
Yeah, obviously. I'm always nervous. That's my issue. My hands are always clammy. It's like a permanent state of mind. So hopefully I can push through that.
Did you know the mic was there?
No, I didn't actually.
That's great. And also with us, we have our fearless leader. We have Jason Lake. How's it going, Jason?
Going great. Busy week. Lots to talk about.
Lots to talk about. We have some really great upcoming projects that I'm excited to talk about.
Hell yeah.
We have, we're getting done with our Dota run. We went from Hamburg, not Hamburg.
Hamburg.
Yeah, the joke's old. Literally after this week, that joke's done. I had to use it one more time, guys. Joke's done. Then we had Sweden, and then we also had Beyond the Summit for Counter-Strike, which it was actually a lot of fun to watch. It's good to see a little bit of a different tournament format. So today we're going to be addressing CSGO's results from Beyond the Summit, our expectations for Atlanta DreamHack, and just to kind of get us started off, Beyond the Summit, Jason, what happened?
The guys played pretty well. We only lost to one team, so that's good, right? We beat 2, lost 1. Yeah. Lost to Optic, went to the lower bracket, beat G2 in some close games, beat Heroic, pretty good games, and then faced Optic again and went to overtime and ended up losing the series. But I think the guys had a good time. BTS is a different kind of event, hanging out at a house. Everyone's kind of relaxed. The announcers are in their shorts, goofing around, making jokes. So our team had a good time. And, of course, you always want to win these things. And congrats to Energy for winning. But could have been worse. Beating G2 and Heroic were some good wins.
That was good stuff. Josh, you spent a lot of time over there at the Summit House. I mean,
yeah,
I think those are fun
I didn't
events?
want to interrupt, but I love the Summit. Like all the Davids that run it, in the past and in the future, whatever Davids are to come, they're all great guys. It's one of the most like welcoming events. Like you see the cornhole tournaments and stuff. It was funny because I was tweeting at some of the guys like Shaz and Rory, because Kyle and I or whoever else was there, Chessie used to dominate those cornhole boards, and it's always fun, and so you really get close to the other teams.
Didn't Kyle actually buy the cornhole boards that they have there?
He did.
He started the tradition?
Yeah, he did. He did. So they had a lot of space in the backyard, and all they had at the time was like a tiny football and like a soccer ball. So people were hanging out there, out on that little nice patio that they have set up there, but they didn't have many games. So he ended up going out and buying a couple of things are now just tradition there.
That's funny.
But
it was a good event for Counter-Strike, and got him a lot of warm-up practice, because this coming week we have 10 maps we play.
We play a lot of maps tonight.
Lot of Counter-Strike this week, and most importantly for us, for ECS, Facet's League, we have to get some W's because we're still shooting for playoffs. So big week.
We're in a pretty good spot with ECS rankings. EPL, I think we're just about out of playoff contention, if not out of it. Should still be fine to avoid relegation. Would like to pick up some more wins. But ECS is the really important one. We're 2 weeks from the start of that tournament.
Yeah, here in Dallas too. So
hometown.
Yeah, they've been told that's a priority, and they've been practicing hard. And I think this event was a nice mix of getting some practice in against top teams while kind of hanging out in California and getting some sunshine. So we'll see how it works out.
Well, the good news is Optic's not in ECS North America.
Yes, we seem to legitimately have like a mental block against them.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. They're a great team.
I feel like that happens sometimes whenever players that were formerly teammates are then on opposite teams. They seem to have just like a little bit more, and Josh is smiling over there.
Yeah, I've seen quite a bit of that.
Yeah. They seem to just kind of have this like chip on their shoulder. They're like, oh, I got to beat my old buddy,
Yeah, without a doubt.
Well, I think actually talking with Shazam about it, talking about Summit and that they had a good time, but NRG, he has the opinion that NRG has that same thing against us. Like they have a mental block against us as compLexity, and he he's like, man, if we could have just took it to NRG, I think we could have taken the whole thing, just gotten past it.
Absolutely.
So they were really confident about it. So I always loving watching matches of compLexity and NRG. So.
Yeah. I'm not saying I would have bet on that, but there's absolutely a strong possibility.
I mean, I'm sure anybody who's seen all the recent content and stuff put out or saw our major run and stuff, like that's got to be a very intimidating thing. You know, all the hype around it and stuff, this like underdog team breaking through, you know.
That's a great segue.
That's a really good segue.
Josh, you know what, bud? I was
gotta be a regular.
I was skeptical about you being on the show.
I'm
but you
still
know what?
nervous.
You just won me over. So talking about one of our new content pieces covering the major, we actually had the recent announcement of Resurrection. This is the predecessor of some of our past content pieces that we've done with compLexity, and it's a big project that I feel weird talking about because it's just been a secret for so long. You know, Jason, what do you want to say? I don't want to screw up. So what do you want to say about Resurrection?
Yeah, this one's close to my heart. So poor Zach, every time he messes up just a little bit, I pounce like a roaring tiger. So I should probably apologize to Zach. There's content, and then there's something beyond content. compLexity Redemption was filmed in 2004 and released in 2005, and it really transcended esports. It transcended Counter-Strike, and it became an iconic, epic film for many young people kind of looking at esports like, what is this thing, and who's this goofy old man behind the team, and da-da-da-da. And it was really our coming out party for compLexity in general. That movie kind of skyrocketed us to fame back in the day. We followed that up with Armageddon. We had other movies over the years. compLexity at ISC 2006, one of our championship movies. We filmed one with my kids and Jason Bass's kids called Generations. We've had some like epic productions. So we do content like this is content, and we do POV, and we do some neat stuff. But this is like a major motion picture for compLexity and in esports space. And you know, it's something I've desperately wanted the opportunity to do for a really long time, and we didn't have the success needed to kind of do it. So when the team started doing well, you know, over in Europe, Zach and I sat down. I think, were you there that day?
Yeah, I think so.
I said, they keep winning. We might need to do a Redemption 2, was a comment I made. And then we talked about it a little more, and it was kind of like, this team was dead, and now look what they're doing. So that's kind of where the name Resurrection comes from. And we've put a lot of effort into this production. Marco, the director, has spent dozens of hours.
Probably over 100.
Yeah. Editing this. And the cool thing is Marco is new here, but he comes from a Counter-Strike background. And I think sometimes to really capture the essence of a certain game, you have to really love that game. Mm-hmm. And Marco genuinely loves Counter-Strike, so he was definitely the guy for the job. You know, we talk about it around the office sometimes, where to really put something like this together is emotionally difficult. It's really draining when you care so much and you want to be able to take that emotion and like
portray it,
to capture it. Exactly. I'm wiped out, straight up. I know Marco is wiped out. I imagine Zach's wiped out. But now we kind of get the fun part. It launches next Monday, November 12th. So we released a trailer, released a poster. We got a little more hype trailers coming. That's the fun part. People are like, oh yeah, let's go. And then launch day. Unfortunately, esports being esports, I'm going to be on a plane to LA that day. So disappointing.
I mean, that'll be something fun to land to, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Phone, a bunch of notifications talking about how exciting this is.
Yeah.
And we got to have some fun today. I don't know if you want to talk about that.
I decided to show the film to the Counter-Strike team today, as they have a lot of really big matches this week for ECS. Like we referred to earlier, we could have done it Friday or next Monday morning before the rest of the public saw it. But I'm like, I want them to see this today. I want them to feel that emotion. I want them to feel the passion that drove this success, and hopefully take that fire and grab some wins for ECS. So we're all super, super excited about this project. Resurrection is the culmination of not just a great production. It's the culmination of what this organization has been trying to return to for many years. the ability to make these movies is never there unless you have the success and the passion and the momentum that this team had. And we haven't had that in a while. So, yeah, it's pretty neat.
And I have a feeling, I'm sure you took clips and pieces. Sadly, I haven't seen it yet. I got goosebumps hearing little bits and pieces of it walking by, but I'm sure having the emotion of the casters and the other teams and seeing all the, the hugging and the shouting and all that stuff, I'm sure that'll help very much so to portray it, right? Like,
yeah, no.
There's no shortage of that.
They do a great job. They do a great job. There's different arcs and storylines that we've put in. The whole "Bring It Back" tagline for the marketing of the release, is in the movie. People will see that, and people that followed us in the older days and watched the older films like Redemption, they might see a few little Easter eggs and things like that. So it's kind of the spiritual successor of Redemption, where that movie was our coming out party. Everyone said we were bad and we sucked, and then we managed against all odds to be successful, and we redeemed ourselves. We redeemed our reputation and everything we were trying to do. Well, this one is the story of a team that many people thought were dead, and you have to watch the film for the rest of it. So
the biggest difference for me is when I've worked on projects before, you're always a crew just filming someone you don't know, and being a part of an organization, knowing the players, see them go through that success is like very hard. Like when you piece it together, because it's not like a puzzle you put together. Like, dude, you love that puzzle. You love every single piece of it, and it makes it even harder to do, because when you're on the outside perspective and you're like, I'm just going to put this guy here, put this there, this scene, all this. But I'm getting a second win the more positivity that I hear about it. So I'm really excited about it. I'm going to keep my mouth shut because something's going to slip up.
like a mom assembling a scrapbook of her kids rather than like some wedding photographer,
Oh, I literally said
every picture has teardrops on it.
I'm in general, I love hype and marketing, but I prefer to under promise and over deliver. Some people, you hype something so much and then you get the final product, you're like, that was way too much hype. But this is really something I'm not afraid to hype. It won't, of course, resonate with everyone. Nothing does in the internet age, but I really think gamers and Counter-Strike gamers in particular are really going to like it. And I won't be here for next week's show because I'll be working in LA, and you guys can discuss the rollout next week without me.
We'll just bring Marco in his white shirt and red tie.
That'd be a great idea. Let Marco talk a little bit about the production.
The Jason Lakes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Chat a teaser in it.
Yeah.
That's it. So, yeah, enough about Resurrection, but we're excited around here. Definitely the big thing going on this week.
Well, something else that I wanted to quickly cover before we get to some of our larger and main topics is we have a quick Fortnite update. Recently, we had the release of Pupper. And last week when we had Soren in, we were talking about possibly finding new talent. And so what's the update on that, Beef? Are we looking to be able to pair? Oh, hi, everybody.
So we did release Pupper a couple days ago. He's been with us since we basically picked up the squad back in April. Originally, we kind of built this team around the idea that quad competition, squads, was going to be really big. Yeah. So we had some personalities that didn't always work well together in game. Outside of game, great friends between Hogman and Pupper, but inside of the game, their styles just didn't quite mesh. So without them being potential duo partners, we were like, okay, we need to find a duo partner for Hogman if we're going to have somebody else in this game. So we did go ahead and release Pupper. We're really looking forward to finding somebody that's going to have that really sick chemistry with Hogman, somebody that's also going to be able to deliver some really high quality content to our fans, and hopefully somebody that can win as well.
Yep, absolutely.
So we're out there scouting. We're getting open applications. We get about 10 applications a day from Fortnite players. But yeah, we're looking for somebody, and scouts are on it. But huge shout out to Pupper. I mean,
good
professional guy through and through.
Wish him the best.
Yeah.
And then now what we're going to do is we're going to jump right over to Dota. Dota recently ended their long travels with Hamburg and ended with Sweden at the DreamLeague minor. We actually fought through the group stages and ended up losing 1-2 to Infamous. Josh, I'm going to take the heat off Kyle for a week of Dota.
Okay, that's fine.
You're in the hot seat now.
Yeah, we're going to put it on you. How was the trip? How's the team?
Do you want to go through Hamburg first, or do you want to go straight into DreamLeague? It seems like you were asking about that one, but I could touch on
Really,
both.
DreamLeague is the one we've talked about Hamburg a lot.
Yeah, we talked about
DreamLeague.
Hamburg. We try to keep it to kind of the last week. So let's talk about DreamLeague.
So, I mean, DreamLeague, obviously, coming out of it, a bit of a disappointment. We felt very, very, very confident going into that. That was sort of our ticket to the major. We had looked at all the teams, especially our groups once they were drawn, and we felt confident. We brought in this SEA player, Skem. He's like our golden boy. And we finally got enough days. We were allowed to use Hamburg as like the training grounds for him. And so having him there, we were super excited, just dominating. We've been trying to find this real carry player, this real one player for a very long time. And so just to see him just dominate on heroes like Spectre, like this Spectre versus Arc Warden late game that went down was just like absolutely incredible. He ran the game, he controlled it, and it felt amazing. And so to see him perform at that level was very exciting, and we felt extremely prepared, like super confident. If we can beat NIP, if we can beat whoever, if we can beat Navi's, I think NIP is a bit better, but if we can beat these teams, like we can beat anyone, especially at this minor. So like I said, to come out of it with our result was a little disappointing. But so during the group stage, the funniest part I thought about it was that we had a lot of sort of differing opinions amongst casters and amongst talent and other teams and sort of behind the scenes. And a lot of people were looking at it like, oh yeah, compLexity, best team by far. compLexity's got this. Other people were like, I don't know, Navi's better, all this stuff. And so to go in our groups and immediately 2-0 Infamous and then 2-0 Navi, that was like suddenly like a wake up to these casters. They were just like, oh well, like all right, I guess compLexity's got some legs on them. Like they can run through this. They can make a good show. And that felt super good. That was definitely a confidence booster, and it really resonated with the team. Like, we had some drafting issues and we had some disconnects, and sometimes somebody didn't talk loud enough or give enough commands or things like this. But to go through those and come out on top, and then see, the faces around us and all these people a little shocked, and other people like, yeah, I knew it. It felt really good. So I was happy with those, and we learned a lot. We certainly learned a lot as a team. Only like day 6, day 7 with Skem by the time we got knocked out. So we've still got a ton to learn, a ton to adapt to and learn and understand. But, we got a good amount out of the event.
That's good. And I definitely want to keep talking Dota. And obviously we have quite a bit of Dota questions as we move over to our Q&A. So it's time, as we move over to the Q&A, make sure you guys submit your questions every single week using the hashtag coLPC. Ask us anything that's happened over the past week under the compLexity house, and we would love for you guys to be able to hit us up on our Discord, Facebook, Twitter, all the above. So the first question that I have is for you, Beef. It's from Rockman from our Discord. Question for Beef: what is the next steps for Dota? And after the controversy, and after falling in DreamLeague, missing the upcoming minor.
Yeah, missing the major, not a great way to start. There's only 5 this year, Josh?
Yeah, 5 in total.
So missing one of the majors, definitely not ideal. As we've talked about both with the minor here today as well as Hamburg last week, we saw a lot of really positives coming out of this team. We're really hopeful to take out the minor here, but we fell short of that. Shout out to Moon, by the way, Moon Meander over there in Tigers.
That was fun. We had a running joke about all the ex-coL players that were there.
We had ex-coL players on 6 teams there.
Mm-hmm. It was pretty much every team.
Something like that. But shout out to them. They played really well. As for us, we've certainly expressed to the team that falling short of the major is a disappointment in our eyes. We are expecting more. Our expectations for that team are a little bit higher. So that's a little bit saddening, but we've also got some feedback from within the team that they're definitely not happy with the way that they've performed, not only the results, but in individual games. So we're having ongoing discussions within that team right now about what the future actually is going to look like. I would say that there are likely to be at least one change being made in that team in the next few days, certainly before the next major qualifiers. So people are going to have to stay tuned for that as we go through all of our options. But it's looking like we're going to make at least one change.
And to touch on the timeline of it, so the way that the DPC circuit works now is rather than hard roster locks where you lose all opportunity to go into closed qualifiers, like you can't get invited to them if you make any changes. Now this time around, essentially the way it works is anytime you change a player, it's a 20% deduction to the team's points, but it is no there's no penalty in terms of actual ability to enter these tournaments and things like that. So it's really not a huge deal. And with us, we came out with 40 points from that event. So to tank some of that wouldn't be so bad. Obviously, ideally, you'd want to continue with the same team, but things happen and things change. So we'll see what goes with that. Also, to touch on the point system. So I have a feeling, as of last year, we saw the first DPC season. Obviously, the structure was a lot more different than it is this year. But the weight of these majors, 15,000 points in a major amongst the 16 teams, 16 teams, 12. Don't worry about that. But 15,000 points amongst them. Essentially, what the way that I see it playing out in these upcoming tournaments is like last year, how you have those very, very top-heavy teams. You're going to have 2 or 3 teams that are just going to dominate at these things. They're going to rake in, maybe 20,000 points, 25,000 points before the end of this season. Could be us, might not be. We'll see. But I have a feeling that's what's going to happen is the amount of points that you'll need for qualifications could very well be a 4th place, a 3rd place slot at one major. Could very well be maybe a 5th, 6th at 2 of them, So we've got some time to work with, and we've got a lot of opportunities. Obviously, we want to seize the moment as soon as we possibly can, and I see that potential in a lot of our players. But, we've got a little bit of time to work with and a little bit more malleability. But, of course, the quicker we lock up a winning roster, the quicker we lock up this winning, drafts and things, the better.
Do you need to take a breath, Josh?
I do this all the time.
You need a towel for your hands.
You good, bro? Like, you just went.
I love it.
1,000%. You're good, bro.
It's high energy. Absolutely.
Well, I'm very excited about this next question. This is from Cookie on Discord.
Cookie.
Question for everyone. What do you think it will take to host a large LAN event here in Frisco? Is it possible? Is there enough of esports presence in any game in the area to support the event?
Yeah, I think Frisco's a great location. It's one of the reasons we're so excited to be here. There's a huge population of esports fans within, say, an hour and a half drive because, the Metroplex. I think there's some cool facilities here, including, the ones. Our new owners have some pretty nice properties, and I think Frisco is going to definitely see some esports in the next couple of years.
Speaking of the properties, we unveiled something yesterday at Monday Night Football.
Yeah. Go ahead.
We have a new compLexity gaming zone over at AT&T Stadium. So really awesome to be part of such a monumentous facility here in Texas. One of the absolute finest stadiums in the world.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see compLexity gaming zone in AT&T Stadium.
Well, not just that, and then we're on the banners as well. And
yep.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. See a packed 100,000.
We're trying to get
house.
photos and videos of this. I'm told there's probably not video, but I'm awaiting potential photos of compLexity banner going around the whole ring of the stadium. It's pretty cool.
I am curious about that, though. So what's the access level that you need to get into that? Is it just open to the public? Do you need a specific ticket, or how does it work?
It's in a section of the stadium. Well, I guess you could argue any section of the stadium is basically you have to have that ticket to get into that section.
Yeah.
So it's not like in a giant open public area when people come in. When I think that's better. Otherwise, it would be more than we're kind of set up to handle. It's like 500 kids. I want to play Fortnite. It's my turn. So, yeah, you have to have a ticket to that area.
Could you imagine 500 people just show up and all the kids just start simultaneously flossing? And
You need like TwitchCon all over again.
We might do something like that at AT&T. We might set up like a gaming zone on a temporary type of basis to do marketing. But as far as our, fairly permanent space in the stadium, it would just not be manageable.
It's just awesome seeing our logo up there and beautiful space.
It was just funny. The first thing that came to my mind when I saw it go public and things like that was the DFW Gaming Lounge. I don't know if you've seen that or heard of it.
At the airport. Yeah. I've heard about it. They
that.
tweeted me and they're like, next time you're flying, come and stop. I'm like,
yeah.
I was so
rushing
excited
to the airport to fly to London or Paris. Like, I don't really want to.
There's actually like a voice of the airport from that account.
Yeah.
Like they were tweeting about OWL news the other day. They're like, Dallas Fuel got some new coaches.
Yeah.
Like, come see me when you're here next time. And I'm just like, The coach is like, "What the heck? I have an airport as a fan."
Yeah.
But I
pretty
had read,
cool.
I thought that was like a VIP only, like business class type lounge or something like that. So I'm not quite sure. I could be completely wrong on that, but I remember reading something about limitations to it. So it was exciting to hear the fact
I
that
think it's
pretty much
public.
No, I think
we can
it's
go there.
public.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Time constraints are too miserable.
I have to check it out eventually. I just haven't.
What's the best thing in an airport you've ever found? I found a puppy lounge one time. It was in, I think, Singapore. It was
lounge.
incredible. You just walk in there and there's like 10 puppies and you play with them while you're waiting.
That's pretty
There's
cool.
a nap lounge at one of the places.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, those
they'll
nap
have this
pods.
room. What the crazy thing is they had not only adjustable, like fully reclined, like seats you could lie down in, but there was white noise being played, and it was like a soundproofed room. So the moment somebody opens the door and hear the wah, 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 all these people, babies crying and all this stuff.
If that
but
alarm
the
wasn't really
moment it
good, I'd probably
closes-
sleep through my flight and then
No kidding,
never do
right?
that again.
Oh, that's true, and somebody might get mad at you if you play an alarm in there. The whole point is that it's silent.
They have to have some way to wake people up, otherwise everyone would miss their flight.
They just start bringing you lotus flowers to eat.
If the nap pod is
stay here
any
forever.
good,
Maybe that's how they make money. Is everybody misses their flights and has
yeah,
to rebook.
they need another
Oh my
nap.
gosh, that's the greatest revenue thing I've had. Like,
That's
All right.
inception.
Let's go to the next question. We're really off on a tangent. Airport nap pods. How did we get here? Oh my gosh.
So for our final question, we have from @McNearly on Twitter. Is there a potential to add a roundup segment at the end of press conference about your most anticipated events for the coming week?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah,
I think we often mention what's coming up the next week, but we
Yeah.
could definitely wrap up the show with what's coming up. I think that's a good suggestion. Who was that? McNearly on Twitter? Good suggestion.
Just put a little timestamp in the bottom, just at McNearly.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, we have. So just to kind of touch upon it again, we do have ECS matches coming up for Counter-Strike.
Big week for Counter-Strike.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to Chicago. We're not going to be there competing, but it's going to be an incredible event this weekend.
Yep. IEM Chicago Counter-Strike.
Does the major start this weekend or next week?
The qualifier. Oh, the major.
Dota major.
The major starts on the 9th. It's next week. It's the 9th, 8th. Let me. The thing
Never
is
do
that the
your
days are
calendar
different.
live on stream.
Yeah, no,
So,
it
so-
starts on the 9th, but I believe media day is on the 8th. That's why I was a little confused. And then it goes all the way through the 19th, and that's where it ends. And then the upcoming qualifiers are actually nearly immediately after that. So
Which is some crazy
majority.
stuff.
Yeah, majority.
That's
or
for a
3
press
of the
conference
regions.
another day.
Yep. So make sure you guys stay tuned and on our Twitter where we post all of obviously our live streams and we're going to be posting our live events. And then make sure you guys stay tuned for next week's press conference where we're going to be covering a lot more events that we have going on. So
And talking about Resurrection because it comes out next Monday.
yes.
And I won't be here, so try not to burn down the studio while I'm in California.
No promises.
Ooh, who are we going to
Bring the
have?
kerosene. I think we're going to bring Marco. I like that idea. We'll see.
Yeah.
I got to keep those guys on task.
Plus, they might talk bad things about Zach. So.
Yeah, that's exactly why. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the press conference. Like I said, make sure you guys go on Twitter and our Discord and use the hashtag coLPC. That's it for us this week. Thank you guys so much. Bye.
Peace.